Keine Ahnung. Yes. Hi guys.
Hi guys, I'm Michael from Charming Horses. This is my producer partner Andrew, and we want to
Hi.
show you how we made the remix for Danik featuring I Yet to Light the Sky with fantastic vocals. It was an honor to make the remix, and yeah, I think we are just waiting for some views, and meanwhile we play the mix so you can hear it. Okay guys, where are you from? Thanks Pablo, thanks Rijab, very nice, thank you very much. Yeah, regarding the guitar we will explain. Okay,
Yeah.
so we start with a mix from the intro part.
Yes, about our approach, we got the two stems from Danik, which contained the fantastic vocals. They were perfectly, mostly perfectly mixed for our purpose, and the guitar, fantastic guitar. I can just show you these two.
So these are the original parts from the mix.
Yeah.
I need a breather, 'cause there's a storm inside my mind. Oh, call me a dreamer.
So you can hear they are already equipped with vocals, with delay and reverb. And the second stem we got was the guitar.
So this was the original guitar from the Danik mix, but we wanted to try out some other guitars to bring this Charming Horses influences in the mix.
Yeah, the first approach was really to use these two elements because they were so good. It was very easy to just come up with a drum structure and do a little bit additional keys, and it sounded something like this.
That was the point where we thought, okay, it sounds really good, amazing with the original ones, but let's try out some alternative ones.
Yeah, because it felt a little bit too melancholic, and so we just thought we would like it to be a bit more uplifting, and so we tried different guitar approaches.
Short, it's not Fruity Loop, we are working with Cubase.
Yeah.
That's good info for Eric.
Hi, Eric. So I think we basically start with the beginning of the track, and I'll explain some of the parts we
Thanks, Pablo.
we did. So, okay. So as you can hear, this is a very basic, simple guitar to lay a background. For this one we used the Ample Sound guitars because, in my opinion, they are the very organic and sophisticated plug-in because there are very much details you can listen to.
And it's a very warm, deep sound.
Yeah, and the one little sound you could hear in the background, it's a vocal sample I put into the Vengeance Phalanx plugin. I can just play it.
Bassline will come later.
This was the one at the beginning. You can just play it on the...
Thanks, Christopher.
It's very easy. I used this later in the track also, just at the beginning to set a signal before the vocals start.
I need a breather, 'cause there's a storm inside my mind.
So at this point you can hear the vocals and also just the bass drum and guitar and some bass. And with the drums, with the bass drum, we had the problem when we had the whole track and we listened to it. The beginning of the song sounded just too punchy. So on the first part, where everything is very calm and introductional, we just cutted the high frequencies. So
it's better for this reduced part.
Yeah, later on with the drop, we just clicked off the equalizer and then you can hear the whole bass drum. But on this part, it's just a little bit more.
It's closer.
Closer, yeah.
It's closer for the beginning.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about that later because it's the second guitar we did. I think I will just introduce it at this point. We got questions about where we get our guitars from, and yes, I present to you.
It's not live.
We're not live. It's basically the Contact 4 guitar. It's a jazz guitar, and in our opinion, it's very fantastically programmed. You got all the little noises and little things that make a guitar sound
very detailed.
A guitar sound very naturally. So it's really just this part that we played and can...
Thanks, Lee.
That's about it, because this plugin is just so easy to use. You don't have to do much tweaking or anything. You just can. You just have to put out these plugins because of the delay compensation, and you can just play it like a piano, and it sounds fantastic. Yeah, so that's basically the drop part guitar, and why I introduced it at this point because I needed some subtle bass foundation at the beginning, and I just used this guitar because I thought in the lower parts, I think you can hear it right now, but it really sounds organic and warm, and I just thought why not use it. So it's already at the beginning to set the basement.
Starus, it's a Contact. The plug-in for the guitar is a Contact.
It's included in the Native Instruments Complete. I just use version Contact 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's included as one of the instruments in the factory library. So yes, that's basically the guitar. I used We used different little parts of it later in the verse, just to have a little background atmosphere. Yeah, so we go on at the beginning.
But I wanna get lost in all these lights tonight. We're gonna dance forever.
So at this part, we added some sub bass. At this point, it's just some simple saw wave from the massive, cut it on the high end, so it's just giving some low end. And as harmonic background, we got to the vocals again this vocal sample from the beginning. So that's basically just to give it a little bit more space, as to have a wider background and to give some atmosphere. So with the chorus, some pianos are added. So in this time I layered two pianos, because the first one was piano in the Nexus, but I thought it's just not rich enough. So the second one is added to give it a bit more space. They still sound like one. And also another ample guitar is added. Just to give this part a little bit more rhythm, and to show that yeah, it's rising up. So. So at this part we introduced the guitar, the main theme, mainly in the background, but slowly rising up. And at this part, just boosting it a little bit with a filter and a little bit more gain, so it's really more present. Yeah, and at this part, as you can see, the equalizer from the bass drum is completely shut off, and you can yeah, hear the whole bass drum. It's in contrary to this one. As you can see, the drums are. We kept this project very simple. It's the bass drum. We have some snaps in the background, because they give this crispy atmosphere feeling, and also a clap, and the rest of the drums is basically a collection of different additional loops, like this one,
just to fill a little bit.
Yeah. And at this time, to have more shaky hi-hats and these tamarines, because they give just a fluent drum feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a good groove.
but still, although there are at this time five or four layers, 3 layers for the hi-hat, it still sounds not too crowded at this point. It's just they fit very good together, so you don't recognize each element, but hi-hat as one.
We have to tell the external sound cards and the amplifier we are using for Kevin.
Yes, what you can see here is the Avalon vacuum
It's for Kevin.
tube. For what? For
For
Kevin?
Kevin.
For Kevin, yeah, Kevin. It's the Avalon vacuum tube. We just use it for vocal recording. We have a little vocal booth in our room.
You see it there. Over there, it's a small vocal
I
booth.
don't think they can see this.
There,
Yeah, just behind.
there. Yeah, okay.
And our sound interface, it's an RME IO interface. Yeah, and for the setup, we also use the Real Sound Lab Coniq, because we wanted to have this linear sound in the room. It's basically a room equalizer which levels our speakers, so we can hear every frequency on the same level. That's basically our setup. Some little reference speakers for iPhone-like sounds.
It's really important that you are always checking your sound on different sound systems, because so many people hear music on iPhones and all this stuff, and so we have also these small boxes.
Yeah, and we also check in our cars,
Yeah.
maybe different locations. You will be surprised how differently a track can sound in different locations. It's when you play it in the club, it's also just another level.
You're always hearing the mixes, the final mixes on 4 or 5 different, to have 4 or 5 different possibilities.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's have a look.
Guys, do you have any technical questions? So let us know. Don't hesitate.
Yeah, because basically
With MIDI keyboard.
MIDI keyboard. It's
a Roland.
Roland A500. Just very basic, but good to use, good feel, and
Nothing special.
also a little Yamaha Master Piano just to play, to hear a real piano play, not only plugins.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's basically it. Yeah. So what you heard so far is mostly
Thanks, Kevin.
mostly everything we got in the track. We have some more effects, the usual stuff like noise ramps, crashes, and a reverb clap, just to boost it a little bit on important parts. But it's not. You can see it's just 4 tracks in the mix. So yeah, let's just have a look. There's in the chorus also just a synthesizer. You can barely recognize it on the whole. It just is put there to widen the track a bit and to give it a little bit more upper warmth, I would call it.
Okay, it's for Arish Khan. Yeah, we are Charming Horses, and we made the remix for Danik and I Here to Light the Sky. And yeah, so you know who we are.
Yeah, so maybe just to complete it, our master chain is very simple. It is just one UAD equalizer, because we had the need to cut off some high frequencies. The vocals were very high boosted, and as the production goes on, it really often happens that we get the feeling it's just too much on the high end. So this one was just used to cut a bit in a really flat ramp or flat shelf. And I put a second EQ there just to do this at 2K, 2 kilohertz, yeah, to eliminate some of the coldness and the ear aching sound spectrum. And then finally it's just the Oxford limiter to give it a little bit of compression, but it's really not much. So basically most of the sound is done during the mix.
I have an info for Kim David. How long does it take? Yeah, I think it takes some years. Yeah, you have to check all these stuff, software stuff, all this music stuff, and but the most important thing is really the feeling. Yeah, you have to know what kind of music you want to produce, and you have to work very detailed and with yeah. I think it's important to get these experiences in year by year. Yeah? It's not so simple to make this kind of productions after 1 or 2 months. Yeah. Thanks, Rachel. Do you we could add master for the master or limit? Ja, ja gut.
For Lee Foster, he's asking if I record at minus 12 dB before cranking it up. No, my first, that's not my master. It's just the level. I put the bass drum normally at 0 dB. So this is my limit. So everything I built on the track later on has to be orientated on the bass drum. So later, when some compression is done, the bass drum will basically not be touched because so don't you get any artifacts and bass drums that have squares on the top and not a nice curve. So it's basically I start at 0 dB, but I have the limiter all the time working. So you can hear the effect when you put a clap on or some synthesizers. Yeah.
So I'm not Bhavya Mahayan. How do you make the atmosphere in the mix? I think it's a sum of details from reverb, delay, and yeah. The vocals are really amazing, and I think that many of these atmosphere vibes are coming from the vocals.
Yeah, mostly because that was the easy part of the remix, because we got so fantastic stems. They were, as you heard, with reverb and delay and EQ'd just for our use a bit too much on the high end, but everything else was perfect. So. And when you have good vocals, this is more than 50% of the track. So you can build everything around this, and when the vocals are great, then you're just so inspired and everything else will fit to it. It's really dependent on the good vocals.
Okay, Cecilia would like a tip. Do you use volume automation on claps and snares? I think it's important to use always automations in your sounds, because that's what we try to explain. We try to place another kind of bass drum or kick in the beginning when the track is reduced, as we do it in the drop part, for example. So you have to. Sometimes there are parts in the track. Maybe let me try experience that my claps are good in the intro of my songs. Yeah, that's exactly the problem. You have to maybe you have to cut it later, your claps, or editing. You cannot always use the same kind of sound or kind of clap or percussions in the whole track, because you have so many frequencies overlaid. You know what I mean? I think so. It's very important to use automations. Yeah.
Yeah, for that mode, he asked which plugin we are using for mastering. Yes, as I showed before, the chain on the mastering on the stereo out channel is just two equalizers and a limiter from the Oxford limiter native is on this time, and that's everything. So in our experience, the more plugins you use on the master channel, the more difficult it gets to have an open, not
It's always
narrow
it's
sound.
very important to keep it simple and use not too much plugins. Yeah.
Yeah. So it really often happens that on a special part on the mix we are putting just to help at the moment some plugins in there, and then later on when we have some problems getting the right sound, we just switch off everything we have on the master channel and only only put a limiter there and start again with leveling the channels, and surprisingly most of the time you get better results.
Okay, John, how would an up-and-coming producer go about getting their music? Yeah, I think today it's there are so many different channels you can publish your music. It's important that you find your way, what kind of music you want to produce, and then you can use channels like Facebook or SoundCloud, for example. But it's important that you that you are working very regularly, and you have to find your own style of music. Yeah. But it's really hard today because there are so many producers. I know that, or we know that. Thanks, Deli. Okay.
Why not KRK? Mostly because we are used to listen to Adam. We owned the P11A before, and now it's the P22. And yeah, with the years you're used to a kind of speaker. So when you're just switching, you will have problems for a long time to adapt to these monitors because you just know them. It's basically the same when you listen in your car and you know exactly when this door is rattling, that sound, with that song, it will sound good in the club because you just know your car and your sounds and your system. So yeah, we just started with Adam and we stayed with Adam.
Synth plugin. Okay, what's the most important synth plugin we used? Yeah.
Most important synth plugin. For
Silent.
yeah, I would say so. The silent in this project we didn't use it.
It's
but,
for Cecile. For Cecile, I think we use. Yeah.
Yeah, Silent One is
Silent One, yeah.
definitely one of the most used, and it's the time that now actually we really often use the Vengeance plugins, the Phalanx, because it's just very intuitive to use. You just have your wave file. You pull it into the Phalanx, and then you can play it on your keyboard, and you instantly get new ideas because these sounds you can transpose them, and it sounds amazing. It's really easy to use, and that's in our opinion the most important thing, that you have easy to use tools, and so you can get fast results because you have to
okay,
set your ideas.
For Suyan, this is Cubase. We are using Cubase for the production. Yeah. So anything else, or I think we have showed many of this remix, many stuff.
Yeah, it's not so much inside.
Yeah. So would be great if you're interested in our music. If you can follow us on Facebook or SoundCloud or Spotify or Instagram, just Charming Horses, and you will find us. Thanks. it's just the remix for Danik we did until now, and it was the request came a few months ago. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So I think we can finish.
Yeah,
Wish you a nice.
was
night,
very nice.
a
talking
charming
to you.
week. Cheers, and all the best.
Yeah, all the best. Bye, guys.
Bye.